Welcome back. Brad Raffensperger was hardly a household name as Georgia's Republican Secretary of State. That is until the 2020 presidential election. But quite suddenly, he became a national figure when President Trump made some false claims of vote fraud and tried and failed to get Raffensperger to overturn Joe Biden's win in the state. But if Raffensperger loses his re-election bid to Republican Congressman and Trump supporter Jody Hice, it's possible the next attempt to overturn an election in Georgia could succeed. Well, Brad Raffensperger has written a new book. It's called Integrity Counts. And he joins me now. Mr. Raffensperger, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Morning, Chuck.
Well, let me start with, you have a full annotated transcript of the infamous call from President Trump on January 2nd, the height of his efforts in order to overturn this election. I want to play a specific audio clip that you write about. Here it is.
That is criminal. You know, that's criminal. Okay, that's another criminal. That's another of the many criminal events. Many criminal events here. I watched you this morning and you said, well, there was no criminality, but I mean, all of this stuff is very dangerous stuff. When you talk about no criminality, I think it's very dangerous for you to say that.
Now, in your book, you break in after this point, because he's talking about some overseas ballots, and you write this: I felt then and still believe today that this was a threat. Others obviously thought so too, because some of Trump's more radical followers have responded as if it was their duty to carry out this threat. It's a big charge. You felt that he was threatening you with what?
Well, at that time, I thought he may still have believed that he actually won the race, but we had run down every single allegation that was made. He said there was 10,000 dead people. There was less than 5. He said that there were thousands of felons, and there was less than 74. He said there were 66,000 underage voters. There were 0. And so you ran down every single rabbit trail. None of it ever was supported by the facts. And so I was never concerned from the standpoint of that, but I heard the threat that he was making. And then obviously when he called me an enemy of the people, that just ginned up his crowd. And I responded to that in my book, saying I would never really not follow the Constitution, not follow the law. I love my nation. My dad raised us to be patriotic Americans, and that's what I am.
You know, another point of the call, the president said, there's nothing wrong with you saying that you're recalculated, and you wrote in this book that essentially the president was asking me to do something that I knew was wrong. You mean he was asking you to break the law, right? He was asking you to commit a crime.
Well, there's nothing to recalculate, because if you look at the numbers are the numbers. And so you can slice that, dice that any way you want. But at the end of the day, President Trump came up 11,800 votes short. And I had the numbers. Here are the real facts, though. 28,000 Georgians did not vote for anyone for President of the United States of America in Georgia. They skipped. They didn't vote for Biden. They didn't vote for President Trump. They didn't vote for the Libertarian Joe Jorgensen. They just left it blank. And Senator David Perdue got 20,000 more votes in the metropolitan areas of metropolitan Atlanta and Athens. And that really tells the big story of why President Trump did not carry the state of Georgia.
The Fulton County District Attorney has been investigating whether the president did break any laws in that phone call to you. I know you've turned over documents and various things. Have you been interviewed by investigators? You hadn't the last time we talked. Have you since?
No, I haven't been. I think she's busy with other matters. She has an awful lot of other cases that she inherited. But we've fully complied, sent all the documents that we had, and she actually talked to some of our staff members. So if she wants to interview me, there's a process for that, and I will gladly participate in that, because I want to make sure that I follow the law, follow the Constitution, and when you get a grand jury summons, you respond to it.
You believe this investigation is very legitimate by the DA?
Well, I'm an engineer, not a lawyer, and so I'll let her follow that process and let her bring it before the people.
You said that you wouldn't have released the phone call had President Trump not tweeted. That's a little bit disconcerting to some. Here he was asking you to break the law, but you would have kept that private until he tweeted. Why would you have kept that private when a president of the United States asked you to break the law?
Well, at the time of our conversation, I didn't realize it was being recorded. But all of a sudden, the next morning, that tweet comes out there, and it's not supported on anything that we had said. And so finally you say, enough is enough. You're just making this stuff up, or you're misrepresenting what we actually talked about. And so that tape came out there. There's the whole run of tape. There's 1 hour and 10 minutes conversation, and you can then decide what exactly was said during our conversation.
You didn't know it was being recorded? You didn't know at the time it was being recorded, but you knew later?
Not at the present time. No.
Who did the recording?
I found out later, and so when I did that, that was someone, because we had lawsuits going on and we were actually sued by the Trump campaign. I understood there'd be lawyers there, and I treated it like a deposition, and that's, I guess, how our office felt that it should be treated also, so that everything would be factually recorded so people couldn't spin it up later.
Have you been contacted or asked to provide any information to the January 6th Commission that's in Congress?
Don't understand. That's a complicated question. I know that they're digging into information. I know we gave everything to the Fulton County DA, but right now I believe that the federal investigation has really been more focused on other people. They've issued subpoenas for other people to come testify, and we've not been issued any subpoenas to come testify.
Do you think Jody Hice, if he's the next Secretary of State, do you think he will? Would he be able to withstand the pressure from President Trump to overturn an election the way you did?
He hasn't shown it so far. In fact, when he showed up on January 6th, he voted to certify his race with the same machines, the same ballots that were used in his race. He certified that. And yet, for the president's race, he voted not to certify it. And that's a double-minded person. And as a pastor, he really should know better.
If he's the nominee, do you think he can win the general election, or do you believe that it makes it easier for the Democrats to win?
Oh, I don't believe he can win statewide at all.
Brad Raffensperger, are you definitely running for re-election?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you're not deterred by the fact that the president has basically decided to make you the fall guy for his inability to win the state of Georgia?
I talk to a lot of Republicans every day. I talk to people that were Goldwater Republicans, Ronald Reagan Republicans, Bush Republicans, and Trump Republicans, like myself. I voted for President twice, and I also contributed family money to his campaigns. And some, obviously, Trump people are still mad about that, and I get a few people that bless me out. But many others understand that I did my job, I followed the law, followed the Constitution, and they believe, and that's the honorable thing to do.
Brad Raffensperger, it's an interesting book. Folks will take a look. We'll be watching you on the campaign trail. Appreciate you coming on, sharing your perspective with us, sir.
Thank you. Integrity counts.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.